Hi, Statesman Nation. Wade Steinloggy, Director of Athletic Communications here, and we have another exciting announcement, as we have had several times lately. So we're all about exciting announcements here at William Penn. But today we'd like to introduce you to our newest, our first ever men's volleyball coach, Luke Bentley. Luke, welcome to Statesman Nation. Welcome to the family.
Thanks. Feels great.
Go ahead.
No, yeah. Super excited to be here. So thanks.
Awesome. We're going to talk to Luke in a second here, but we're going to give you a little bit of the background of how we got here with Luke being our first men's volleyball coach. So we're going to talk to Nick Rule, our athletics director, for a couple minutes here. Nick, I guess give us a little background here. I know it went fairly well and everything. We got the guy we wanted, so
yeah, we did.
Break it down.
Yeah, no, obviously it goes back to basically August of this year. We put together some plans and have been working together some plans that we wanted to work on increasing our enrollment at an even heightened level than we already are. And part of that was, let's look at some new sports, some new activities that we'd be able to add that is going to help with that. And it became very clear to us that what we're working on not today, lacrosse, men's and women's lacrosse, but men's volleyball was a part of that as well. So we found three pieces to the puzzle that really needed to be a part of our puzzle here at William Penn. And so we went through the hiring process. We knew we were going to do this. We made a big announcement that we were doing it in January, started posting the position, and we were overwhelmed by, in a really nice way, about the amount of quality candidates that we had. And so we did Skype interviews, phone interviews, but with Luke here, Coach Bentley, we did a phone interview, and we knew, okay, this is someone special, and we need to get this guy to campus. And so he was part of he went from phone interview to finalist, and that's not the way others went. And but we felt strongly enough about bringing him to campus and meeting with our committee that this was the right thing to do, and doing what's best for William Penn University. And so we had a quality group of finalists, some really good finalists, other schools might have jumped at. But Luke was the guy that really came back and rose to the top. He had a plan for us. He had done research on us. He has experience in the heart of America. He was the assistant coach up until recently, or technically probably still are until May 1 when we officially start here at Clark University. They have a men's volleyball program. Then spent some time at Central Methodist as a GA for women's volleyball, and so. He has a lot of familiarity with the way we do things with our conference, and we felt like with his energy and his vision going forward, it was very much in line with our vision and the energy that we're trying to put forth going forward. And it was a no-brainer. He was the right guy for the job, and we're really happy that he accepted the position. He was our guy.
Awesome. All right, Nick's off the clock now. He can just sit there and look pretty for a while. We're going to talk with Luke now, and I guess Nick alluded to some of your background, but I guess break down your resume a little bit. You're coming from Clark University up in Dubuque, spent a couple of years there, and then prior to that also hard experience at Central Methodist, but on the women's side. So I guess just give us the highlights of where you've been.
Yeah, so I guess going backwards, the past years at Clark, been a great experience. Been very competitive in a super competitive hard conference with men's volleyball. Yeah. So that's really something that I think will be an advantage for us moving forward. But like you said, with Central Methodist before that, had lots of good success there. That's something that Coach Allison Jones-Olson's kind of jumped there and brought them to the top of the heart, which was really exciting for us. Yeah. And then before that, I was able to coach and teach high school, coach high school volleyball and teach in high school in Arizona for 2 years. And then I did my undergrad at Manchester College, which is a D3 school in Indiana. Got some experience there as a student assistant. Right. So been involved with the game a long time. I grew up playing, and it's something that I always dreamed of being a head coach. And it's kind of scary that it's a reality now, but I'm super excited, and I can't wait to get started. So,
within your background, being that you've worked with both men and women, not just working with the men, big time strength to know that you've worked with both sides. I mean, I feel like it would be. I mean, obviously you're not coaching both now, right. But how has that helped to all of your education, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big thing is knowing the difference between men and women, and kind of knowing what we can do with the men that we can't do with the women, and vice versa. Being with the men, there's lots of things that I've been able to pick up and learn that I didn't have the women, and then, like I said, vice versa. So it's definitely a different experience, but I love the way men's volleyball is structured. I love the fast pace of it. You know, I love the athleticism. You know, it's all things that are very appealing, especially to the spectator. So it's a great sport, and I think the fact that we're starting it here means that William Penn knows kind of what's going on. The Heart of America, I think, is the strongest conference in the country. You could probably make arguments for other sports that we have here, but with men's volleyball, I mean, last year, for example, there were, I think, 7 first-team all-conference players. 4 of them are All-Americans, you know, and so the talent level is extremely high, and we're getting into good times, so it's a great spot for us to be in, and it'll be hard from the start, but it's what we want. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, it's your first job. I mean, obviously you're excited to get rolling and everything, but just talk about, you know, all the feels, I guess, right now going into your first head coaching gig.
Yeah, you know, excitement's the first thing, obviously, but more than anything, I'm ready for the challenge. You know, it's going to be a challenge to bring 15 or 16 quality young men in here, but I'm so confident what William Penn has to offer as far as university and our athletic department that I don't think it'll be as hard as I realize. But at the same time, you know, we're going to do everything we can to bring in those quality students and create a good student-athlete experience for everyone here, just like what we're going for. So that's super important. But yeah, you know, it's excitement, it's a little nervousness, it's a little anxiousness to get going. But more than anything, you know, it feels right. Everyone at Statesman Nation has been wonderful. It feels like a dream come true. So I'm ready to get going.
Yeah. I prefaced this before we got on camera here, so you're ready for it. But I said I'm going to ask the political question of what's your first 100 days look like?
Yeah, you know, seeing that we're getting into summer here real quick, it doesn't feel like it outside, but you know, before we know it, we'll have graduation. So it'll be a lot of recruiting. You know, that first year we're recruiting, so we won't play till spring of 2020. So the first 100 days will be getting out as much as possible and seeing as many good, talented, you know, student athletes in the class of 2019, and getting our name out there. You know, getting that William Penn men's volleyball name out there and making a name for ourselves. And you know, on top of that, getting to know everyone here and being immersed in the William Penn community. But yeah, that's the first goal, is getting out and kind of putting our name out there.
Yeah. Well, and truth be told, I mean, you've already seen a lot of recruits.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that you're stealing, you know,
Sure.
Clark's recruiting sheets or anything, but obviously, you know, you've seen kids and you know who you're looking for.
Right.
For sure. So, just talk about, I guess, your recruiting philosophy and who you're looking for, where you're looking, you know,
Yeah.
the statesman, the future statesman.
Yeah. You know, where is such a tough question because men's volleyball is not around the corner, you know, so we can't go to Oskaloosa High School and pull some young men there. So I'm gonna have to cast a pretty wide net as far as you know, who we look at. And but the most important thing is that we're gonna get quality athletes, but we're gonna get quality young men too.
Right.
We want guys that are gonna come in and work really hard. Like I mentioned earlier, the Heart's extremely competitive, and so we want young men that are gonna work for it, you know. And so part of selling that recruiting pitch is going to be, you know, do you want to come in and earn what we're going to get, you know, because they're going to have the opportunity to play right away, but it won't be easy, you know. And if you walk into the gym at Grandview, you know, you're guaranteed that you're going to be in the top 10 every year, you know, and so, which is extremely exciting for them, and they worked really hard for that, but we're going to have to do the same thing on our end. And so we want young men there to come in and work really hard and be good quality people. You know, one of our big core values is relationships, and we want them to focus on their relationships and be a good member of William Penn and the Statesman Nation, and just focus on, you know, being good people is more important than anything, but at the same time being good volleyball players. So that's a big thing we look for. We want guys who are going to work hard and do a good job for us. But more than anything, we want guys that are excited about volleyball, and so we're going to, like I said, we're going to cast a wide net and see what we can do. And I'm confident there's plenty of good young men out there that we can get in here and be a part of our family.
Definitely. I think with any new coach, part of the philosophy might be, hey, you know what, let's see if we can hit it hard right away, and that might be with, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but junior college level, getting kids that already have, and I'm not sure what the junior college men's volleyball scene even looks like,
Sure.
if there is, I need to be honest.
Yeah.
But is that a thought here, let's see if we can get some kids that have already got the collegiate experience under the
Right.
belt.
Yeah. Because right away we're gonna be forced to be behind the ball as far as age. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna be playing guys that are juniors and seniors, and
Right.
if we have kids coming out of high school that'll be freshmen, that'll be a little disadvantage.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, outside of age or year or experience is going to be what I talked about before. You know, is about their character and what kind of people they are and how hard they're going to work.
Right.
So if they fit those criteria and they can play, and then we'll have no problem recruiting them. That's going to be the big thing. So whether it's a junior college kid or whether it's an international student or whether it's someone from Milwaukee or Chicago or St. Louis, they have to fit into our program and understand that first and foremost. But that's the big important thing. But yeah, there's a good handful of schools out in California that are junior colleges, and those kids are looking for somewhere to play. And so if they fit in, then absolutely we'd recruit them.
Definitely. I'm going to go off script here a little bit. Something's popped in my head, but what about recruiting basketball players, high jumpers, people of different sports that are just athletes? Because I mean, again, I don't know anything compared to you do for men's volleyball, but what I've seen is if you have an athlete, a kid that can jump, he can figure out the sport pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if he just can, etc. But I mean, that only really works for hitters. But I'm just curious what your thought on that.
Right. Yeah, I think there's definitely some potential for that. I have to say, in my experience, that's not a very common thing.
Okay.
I think you do find that in other sports, though, that it's very easy to translate over.
Right.
But yeah, I'd be more than willing to take a kid on if, like I said, if he wanted to try it, and we'd have no problem with that. But I think the art of jumping and hitting a ball in the air and changing directions with the ball is a little more complicated than people realize. And so
way to learn that.
Yeah. Like, my 2-inch vertical.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about me.
So yeah, if you're athletic and you can jump and we can hit the ball, we can definitely train you on your arm swing and your approach and all the mechanics of it. I mean, that's where everyone starts somewhere. We actually, that is something that we'll find, that there will be young men that don't start playing until later, and then we realize most kids play soccer when they're 5 years old, they play basketball when they're in 4th grade or whatever it would be. Volleyball is usually a late starting sport, which is an advantage for us because we'll get some young men that haven't hit their potential yet, which is really exciting.
Right.
But yeah, so if there's someone that wants to walk on and try it, then we're more than okay with it. But I think it's a little more challenging than jumping and hitting the ball. But yeah, it's definitely possible. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't just talking on campus, but per se,
Sure,
like if you know somebody that's a local area, you can like, you know what, you're great. You just look like an athlete. But hey, you ever thought about volleyball?
Yeah.
And just throwing it out there.
I'm
I
sure.
don't know. I'm helping you with the recruiting here.
I'm sure you're not the first person to have that thought because I'm sure people do that all the
I'm
time.
oversimplifying it. I know I am, but
yeah, it's possible.
that's how SID minds work sometimes, or at least mine.
It's all about the stats.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all about
That's my
stats and
head.
story. He's looking for a storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I bet
right.
that 6'10" high jumper, I bet he could probably do something out there. Just thinking. Finally, not finally, we can continue to talk for sure, but a big thing, let's talk expectations and goals. I mean, I know you've already talked a little bit about it, but I mean, do you have, if you have a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, kind of lay it out a little bit. I know obviously things are going to change as you go, but what's your thoughts?
I mean, first year obviously is really important of getting those young men in, and after that, we want to just get better, and that's getting better for everything across the board. So we want to see improvement in the classroom, we want to see improvement on the court, we want to see improvement in our relationships. Everything that we do, we want to get better at least for year 1. And then, year 2 and year 3, you're doing the same thing, but at that point, we'd like to see results. And so by year 2, I can see us being competitive in the conference, and making a run at some of those top teams. And by year 3, so those young men that would come in as freshmen their junior year, I think we'd have a legit shot at being a contender for a lot of things. And then by year 4, hopefully the expectations are pretty high. But none of that's going to be done without that process of going through what we need to go through, and having the commitment from us and from everyone here. So it's going to be tough, but yeah, I think you're going to want to see that maturation as it goes, and it's definitely possible. But like I said, at this point, it's hard to say because nothing's happening yet. So.
Exactly, and there's going to be constant reevaluation. Okay, well we thought this, but now hey, guess what? We have these athletes in the gym right now. So now all of a sudden maybe the goals are higher, or maybe they're lesser, or whatever it might be. Nick, in line with that, I mean, throw out, I guess, your own thoughts on what you're expecting out of the program.
Well, we've been
years.
we've been very clear with our expectations when we talked with all of our candidates, and I think one thing is, you got to understand what the expectations you want to develop as a coach in the program. And one thing here, we're really big on empowering our coaches to build a program the way they see fit, as long as it's in line with our values, and our values really lined up and our vision really lined up. I think the one thing, not to dodge the questions, I'll get back to that in a second, but as you hear Coach Bentley here talk, you can understand he has an understanding of self.
Yeah.
Like, he understands who he is and what he wants to be as a leader, and he understands who he is as a leader. Right. That's really important. You can't send this messages to young men and young women that are student athletes if you don't understand yourself. Mm-hmm. How are you going to be able to effectively message what you want them to be? And I think that was really important to us in the process, is that he understands who he is and where he wants to go in his own leadership, and how he can lead people. And it came down to the fact to where, we talked to Brian Spielbauer, the athletic director at Central Methodist, and of course we talked to all of his references and such. And Brian's a William Penn alum. He knows us. And I asked him about Luke, and I said, "What do you think?" And he says, "Hire him." I said, "Well, yeah, we're going to do that, but," and he said, "This is a guy that's going to be a head coach one day." And he said, and then I thought about it a little bit longer, and I go, with this person's understanding, with Luke's understanding of who he is and where he wants to take a program, I don't want our programs to be playing against him. Right. We want him on our side. Yeah, right. And so with the expectations we talked about, I would echo what he's saying here. I mean, we want to develop and bring people in, quality people that are going to be quality student athletes that are going to be able to lead us. And with the facilities that we have in place, with the structures in our athletic department and our university, success will breed itself based on someone who has a clear vision for what they want and has a clear understanding for who they are as a leader. And so, I think that we can be competitive. I think that we can be competitive at the national level. I think we can be competitive in the conference. I mean, we are that way with other sports. We have sports that have a lot of success, but you have to have the right leadership in place. You can't be successful if you don't have the right leadership in place. And we feel like we have the right leader in place, and he has a vision. He just articulated to him. I'm not going to disagree with it, because that's exactly what we talked about, and it's exactly in line with what we're looking at.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add? I was just going to put a nice little bow on.
This is great. This is exciting. He's our first coach in men's volleyball ever. This is cool.
This is big time.
This is
a start. This is a new era. So we're excited. 2 years from now, ask me if I'm still excited when I've added 3 new sports, but I'm still excited.
We're going to add GAs to help him out too. But I tell you what, I will mention this, and I know I've mentioned this to Luke in the process. Our community, the William Penn University community and the Oskaloosa community, are really excited about us adding this sport. We're going to play in the Penn Activity Center. I mean, just the athleticism. This is going to be an exciting sport. This is going to be a sport on campus that our students follow, that our community follows. It is going to be one of the more popular fan sports on campus. It's going to be exciting. I mean, part of it is like, the next thing is we have to wait until there's going to be a lot of work that Coach Bentley's going to put into building that team. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we just want to start playing games. Yeah, I know. But to get to that point, there's going to be a lot of work ahead, and there's going to be a lot of behind-the-scenes work that he's going to put forth, and we're going to support him as a department. And the other thing I want to mention is that he's a perfect member of our team. You work in our department. We got great people. Yeah. He's adding to it. He makes us better. Yep. And that's the type of people you want to continue to bring in, people that are good teammates that want to make your department better, and so he gets that big picture.
Yep, 100%. So, no, I fully agree with that. It's going to be probably the most exciting, if not one of the most exciting sports. I mean, just being around it for a few matches here and there. Women's volleyball is awesome. Men's volleyball is just high intensity and just high up in the air all the time.
We're
so
excited.
Hence why we're playing in the pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Our gym probably can't hold all the high flying balls and everything, but
Statesman Nation's going to be happy to have him.
Yeah, we're very excited. Luke,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Best of luck, and we'll definitely, everything statesmanathletics.com, we're going to keep track of, keep tabs on Luke's progress and everything, how we're going. We'll definitely have the first signee, a big deal about that, etc. But for anything you want to know, men's volleyball and anything else, William Penn Athletics, statesmanathletics.com is your home, so check us out. All right, thanks guys.